All right, welcome back to the Run.down over here, post-game show over here on the Strickland Podcast Network, as well as Strickland YouTube channel, as you're viewing it right now. Knicks win in overtime with a score of 134 to 131 over the Charlotte Hornets to reach a season record of 3-1. Jalen Brunson was the star of the night with a stat line of 27, 7 rebounds, 13 assists, on 10 for 15 shooting, including a bunch of clutch baskets, including some clutch threes. One that helped tie the game in the fourth quarter, as well as one that gave us the lead in overtime for a short bit. Um, but yeah, this was a masterclass performance by Jalen Brunson. I mean, the 13 assists, there were just some of these assists that were just like spectacular, like awestruck passes that we haven't seen in the Garden since like Mark Jackson days or whatever it is. But
Like Sugar Ray Richardson, maybe. Like that's the probably like that pass to Mitch where like
that was
he
special.
fakes out two guys, throws it back, and then like tilts his head while he's passing it, and Mitch just gets it underneath wide open. That is probably the best pass I've seen from a Knick player in a decade. Like that was special. That
That was
was a
special.
special performance, man.
But this win was an ugly one, as you are probably wondering. Why did the Knicks go to overtime with the Charlotte Hornets that are missing Terry Rozier, LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, who's in prison or at least should be in? Um, and yeah, you're probably wondering, why did the Knicks have to be in a dogfight with this Charlotte Hornets team? We will get into all of that, and hopefully your comments will help guide us through that as well. But do we want to start with the good, the bad, the ugly, or do we want to start? Because there was a lot of bad and ugly in this game.
I mean, I think we just keep talking about Jalen because that was like that's the game where if Knicks fans don't know who you are, and I think a lot of Knicks fans are like,
Or
"Who's
just NBA
Jalen Brunson?"
fans in general, too.
Right? Like you're like, "Okay, you signed this guy from Dallas. What are you doing here? Like overpaid, yada yada, blah blah blah." That's the game that you pull up and like when you're retiring his jersey in like 15 years, and you're like, "Yeah, that's why like they got him." That's the game where like the front office looked like geniuses because they went out and got this dude, and Leon Rose is like flaunting his connections and nepotism because he was able to get this guy who's gonna realistically secure the point guard position for the team for the next decade. So like that that's a way to introduce yourself to the fan base. That's a way to get your jerseys bought. Like
Yeah, I
that's
might
got
have to
that
copy
got
that.
him a couple endorsements. Like that game
I might
got
have to
him.
cop myself a JB jersey and not go hold you.
Like he probably made a couple of million off of that. So man, pull out the pullover, man. He said he on the team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But
What you
yeah,
gotta
Jeff,
say, though?
how'd you feel about
Yeah, I
JB's
mean,
performance?
I think the best part about it is there really isn't a like dispute or question about the pecking order. Like even Randall is fully bought into like some people might say like, oh, I didn't like a few of the shots Randall took down the stretch. But the thing is that they all came off of Brunson being doubled. They were all him reacting. There was never one time when like Randall like called his own number. And what do you expect from Randall when the shot clock's going down and he gets the grenade because Brunson needs a bailout option? Like, yeah, you wish some of them would have gone in, but I personally didn't have a qualm with any of Randall's
Yeah.
actions down the stretch. Even like I thought his defense wavered a bit,
I mean,
but
the whole
hey,
team's defense
but I mean
was bad.
he played 40 minutes unnecessarily again, and his backup played 13. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to have max energy when your coach doesn't trust a really good player who the team always plays well with on the court for whatever reason. But I guess we can talk about that later. Um, Brunson is just so clearly in charge and the floor general, and it's crazy what a big deal that is down the stretch of these games because we're not doing anything different play wise. We're not. It's not like, oh, all of a sudden we have this like Spurs like beautiful basketball, but when you have someone you can trust with the ball in his hands that can get a decent look whenever he wants, it's just such a big difference maker.
Yeah, for sure. And the Randall thing, to go to the Randall point, for me, I Nemo, who's in the stream right now, he replied to one of my tweets and he said, because I obviously loudly criticized Randall for smoking layups in the clutch, and I did it for both him and RJ because it's just at this point it's ridiculous for both of them to be like that bad in crunch time with the ball in their hands. I mean, RJ is like he's more like he hasn't always he like last year he was pretty good in the clutch. So like this is not an indictment on him like for his overall career, but we know what Randall is at this point in his career in this time of the game. But for me, I said that it's like JB and the Knicks, they have to know their personnel. So like they have to know who's going to be the best bailout option if JB does get doubled. And like what are some like other counters? What are some other ways that we can go about that so it's not always Julius Randle? Because I felt like every time that he got doubled, it was always Randle that was the bailout option. I feel like we can maybe switch that around, try different options.
Randle hit like the biggest shot of the game? Well, besides the Brunson three, didn't Randle hit the shot to make it 134, 131?
Yeah, I think he hit the putback.
I don't know. I think I disagree with you here, Sam. Like I mean, me and you are pretty. I don't think I'm as down as him as you are, but I like Randle as a reactor. I like Randle's size and ability to get to the basket. And when he's operating in a 4-on-3 situation or 4-on-3 situation, I don't know that I'd rather have anybody other than him having the ball in his hands. That's my opinion, at least on this roster. If you want to say that we should make a roster change, okay. But I mean,
for me, it's in crunch time. We just know what he is at this point. So it's like, I'm like,
yeah,
super...
I mean, we're just always going to disagree because I don't really believe in that. Like, I don't believe that Julius Randle forgets how to play basketball because it's a certain time in the basketball game. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that I don't really believe in that too much. So, and I mean, he hit the shot tonight when in the situation we're talking about. So one shot sample size, but.
And I mean, that shot was like under the basket too. So it's like.
Right. Yeah, that's what you want.
That's what I'm
I'm talking about like him catching the ball at the top of the key, creating for himself, all that.
That's exactly
that bailout stuff.
That's
I'm
exactly
that we don't need that in the.
I'm pretty sure like he caught it top of the key, dribbled, got the dude up, and then like was able to finish through contact. And if he probably missed it and then got the putback, but either way, he was able to score the basket in that moment. I also think you have to think about the fact that like now Brunson is setting him up, so like those crunch time looks and those clutch time buckets probably get a little bit more better because now there's more like there's somebody actually creating those looks instead of him having to do it from like a 1-4 flat. Yeah, like I feel like if there's a bailout option, like I will trust Randle over RJ because I don't really trust. Like RJ was smoking bunnies again. Like they were both smoking bunnies, but like RJ had like two on like a fast break that he just smoked, and then like the jumper is what it is. It's like hit and miss, and I'm just like at that point I'd probably just take Randle by default because.
I mean, for me, with RJ, the sample size is larger in the clutch of what he can do. So I'm going to trust that over Randle any day, to be honest. I know, like, his season start hasn't been the best for RJ, but, I mean, going back to, like, these past 2 seasons in the clutch, RJ sample size of, like, converting baskets is way, way larger and way more efficient. So I'm going to always trust that more than Randle. And we know the coach isn't going to do that, but that's who I trust. Let's go on to the ugly and the bad of tonight's game, which was a lot of the game, including the defense that Charlotte was able to exploit, including a lot of back cuts. The driving kick was just like our kryptonite tonight somehow, and I think that just goes back to the point of attack defense being like really bad with JB and Fournier there. But having both of them is just not a recipe for success for. Like if this team really wants to be a playoff team, and with the stretch that we have going forward, teams, they'll look at this tape and they'll be able to see what they can do to the Knicks and it'll work every time because that's just the personnel that we have out there. But yeah, I mean, Charlotte's main success tonight was driving kick threes. We had guys like DSJ, Kelly Oubre driving in, kicking out to guys like PJ Washington. He was killing us from three. The McDaniels brother was killing us from three. Oubre killed us a couple times. But yeah, I mean, this is a bad team that's doing this to us. Imagine when we face the upcoming teams that we have in the Bucks, the Cavs, and whoever else that we have coming up. But yeah,
I would also say, like, they were hitting the shots of their life that game. Like,
true.
the shot making that, like, Dennis Smith Jr. had, like, I swear to God, he was Chris Paul tonight. Like,
and that's how it's going to look against better teams.
But the thing is, like, some of those shots made no sense, and they were, like, well contested. But, like, you saw, like, Jalen McDaniels got, like, a straight up 2 banked in threes. Like, Dennis Smith Jr. got, like, a couple banked in middies. Like, it was kind of nuts how the shots that we're getting. And I agree with your point, but also, like, this team was missing straight up buddies, and they were also, like, the Hornets were also just getting some stupid ass luck on their shots. So, like,
I'd be very interested to look at the shot quality because I tweeted the exact same thing like halfway through the game. I couldn't agree with you more, Tyrese. Like, it just felt like it was crazy that the game until the starters came back in the fourth quarter. I thought the Knicks like almost completely dominated that game. I actually think Charlotte. You could make the argument that they outplayed the Knicks from like 5 minutes on, and it wasn't so much shot luck, and there were shot luck, excuse me, and it was more exposing some cracks in the foundation of the Knicks and what they do late in games. But for the first 40 to 43 minutes of the game, it's crazy that the Knicks didn't have like a double-digit lead.
Well, I mean, they did get a double-digit lead a couple times. It was just like they kept creeping back into it because we kept giving them like those easy baskets here and there, those one-off baskets that they were able to get. And then yeah, from there, like you said, as soon as it got to like those last couple minutes, that's when it was really like Charlotte was like they weren't even hitting the BS shots anymore. It was just like they were just getting quality looks, and they converted. And, like they said, they exposed the cracks in our defense, which is a concern long term. As long as Quentin Grimes is still out, that Fournier is most likely going to be the starter. And that point of attack defense in the starter unit is going to be something that teams can feast on. And like I said, this is a Charlotte team that was hitting every lucky shot. Imagine when we face a better team that ends up having a net like that. And we've seen this happen before, like last year. I mean, the Bucks, when Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton came into Madison Square Garden and fucking lit us up like crazy, like even good teams will have those nights against us too. So if a bad team is exposing it and having a good night, then you can bet damn sure that some good teams are also gonna have some nights like that. And I think we play a lot of these good teams at home too. So it's gonna be a good test for the Knicks early in the season, I think.
By the way, Sam, I just because I'm always trying to keep myself honest. The last 2 seasons, in clutch situations, which are defined by 5 minutes left in the game, up or down 5, Randall has shot 37% and 38%, and RJ shot 43% and 47%. So you were correct.
Yeah.
There. And interestingly enough, the year before, the year Randall was really good, Randall took double the shots, so there's at least some argument that like, okay, he was crazy. He was just crazy, carrying a crazy usage, and like he was facing lots of double teams. But RJ actually had a higher usage in crunch time last season, which is really surprising to me based on what we saw. That's really interesting to me that RJ.
I think it probably came from like the latter half of the season when he really got the ball in his hands more. Yeah. I think that really like outweighs it because early in the season, I remember like Randall did have the ball a ton in crunch time.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, even on shooting more shots, he was slightly more efficient. So
yeah, so that's why I trust I trust not Randall. I never trust Randall. Trust RJ more in those situations just because, like I said, the sample size is a bit larger. But we'll see how the team adjusts because I think the one thing that also concerns me too is Thibs with Fournier. If Fournier's not in foul trouble. Does he close the game out with Fournier? Because like, I feel like he only put Cam in because Fournier fouled out and he wanted to match length because he was not going to put Quickly back in. So what do we think about that?
It's really quite scary. Sorry, Tyrese. I'm not going to bash him for going to Cam because
I thought it was a good move.
Even though I think Quickly has the length to handle what was going to be thrown at him.
It's Kelly Oubre. It's not fucking like
right. Quickly would have been fine. Cam is better than nothing. You know, like he's a young guy too, and he was having a fine game. Although, man, you guys were so right. I can't believe I'd never noticed it before. Anytime he dribbles, it's a disaster. I don't understand. He had like 3 of those.
He's too cool. He's too cool for school when he dribbles.
He had 3 of those turnovers tonight. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what is happening?
Look, literally, the first touch, he would get it, dribble, and they would either strip him or he'd dribble it off his fucking foot. Like, dude, it's bad. Like, he has Nerlens Noel hands. Whatever Nerlens had for the last 2 years, somehow Cam Reddish is contagious. Cam Reddish fucking got it, and now every time he touches the ball, he just dribbles it. And it goes off his fucking dick. It was bad.
I obviously would have gone to Quickly. I think it's ridiculous that it's year 3 and Quickly has not a bunch. He has 2 like bad turnovers, which were bad turnovers, and just gets the hook. Like that annoys me because Quickly played a really good game. Not a really good game. He played a fine game, but he was very good defensively. But if you're not going to go to Quickly, okay, Cam's fine. Fournier should never have been in that game, and we saw why. And it's crazy that it went to him. You can't like get fooled by Fournier making some shots. He's a good offensive player. He's going to have nights like those. But when the game slows down, Fournier's offense is like all he does is stand there. They never, ever use his biggest advantage over all these players, which is secondary initiation. He never gets those touches ever. They never run side pick and roll. They never do anything besides high single screen and roll with Alec Burks or now Brunson. Like that's what they do. So you have to figure out who's going to play best off those guys. And can Fournier catch and shoot? Yes, he can. But Quickly and Cam can both catch and shoot too, and they're way better defenders. It's crazy that he went back to Fournier. That is very, very we should be on alert because Grimes is going to come back soon, and we just have to pay attention to what he does when Grimes comes back.
For sure. Terry, how'd you feel about the Fournier decision?
Like, I can understand the defensive concerns about it, but at the same time, offensively, he was probably their second best player tonight. Like, he was the only person who could actually hit shit offensively. Like, I think down the stretch it kind of faded. Like, I'm honest. Like during that, let's say second.
Son was a turnstile. Like it negated
I
all offensive like utility that he.
I agree, but
he had 3 more points than Quickly on 5 more shots. And he had less assists. He was better than Quickly offensively. Get out of here.
I'm talking about the shooting wise, like offensively. Yeah, okay. I should have said better. Like he was the only person, like aside from Brunson, for like a good bit who was scoring and like that kind of second half kind of lull in the action. My thing is just like I don't hate it as much as you guys do. I just wish that like I definitely think he deserved a quicker hook, but at the same time I didn't hate it because that team like nobody was playing defense. Like I understand the merit of like where you want somebody in who plays defense, but when nobody plays defense, I'm like okay with the idea of just like, you know what, if we're gonna be a shootout, just make it a shootout. Maybe that's just me subscribing to a very like kind of like variance ideal. I don't know, but like to me, I was just like, okay, if we're just gonna shoot out, let's shoot out. So yeah, like I wasn't like too beat up over the whole Fournier thing. He did have it going for a bit. And then he kind of like started to lose it defensively and then fouled out, which was really rough. And then, yeah, so.
Losing it implies he ever had it defensively.
Okay. I mean, true. Like, I think he saw like solid effort tonight. And the problem was like, he would show really solid effort, get a really nice stop. And then like his recovery would just be ass. And then he'd end up fouling. And I'm just like, you had it for like 23 seconds. Like he's playing lockdown defense on like Kelly Olynyk or like Dennis Smith Jr. I remember like that one foot Dennis Smith Jr. where like he screen navigates it perfectly and then somehow just whacks him on the arm for whatever reason, even though Jalen Smith Jr. is like in no man's land and just ends up giving him the foul. And you're just like, why? Like a lot of the plays were just like really good hustle, really good defense, great screen navigation, like, and then just why foul and bail them out and give them an opportunity to like get back into the game. It was just really sloppy play in general.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny that Breen was trying so hard to like talk up his defense, and he was like, he's really trying out there, and then he immediately gave up that and one to Theo Maladin, whatever his name was. Like, look, I actually really like Fournier. Like, that's the funny part about this is like I think he would be so enhanced in a bench role, and we would all just be much happier he was on the Knicks.
Another case of Thibs, ruining a player that could be good by placing them in the wrong role. He's this year's Alec Burks.
Maybe I'm drinking Schwinn's Kool-Aid, but I'm laying off Tibbs until Grimes is back. When Grimes is back, I'll reassess. But I've actually really liked a lot of what Tibbs has done so far. I think they're diversifying their offense. I think they're trying new things. I think he's trying new lineups. He did another new rotation tonight.
Yeah, the Brunson Randall with the bench unit. I loved that one. That was a very, very great rotation. Like, it was like, I like the way he's kind of been like, okay, RJ, this is your time to cook. Oh, Brunson and Randall, they have a nice 2-man game. We're gonna like give them a bunch of offense and space it out with Hartenstein. Like the moves that he's been making, like the little tinkering that he's done has been solid. I've liked it, but then he just gets back into the rigidity, and it kind of like brings me back to earth a little bit. But I do like the fact he's been experimenting and trying a bit in this early season so far. So like, props to him.
I think we're too far. We know Tibbs too well, or at least I think I do. I don't mean you guys don't know him as well. I'm just saying this is how I feel. I don't want to speak for you guys. I'm not going to let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Like if he makes improvements, I'm not going to be like, hey, he's still not doing this and that. Like on a certain
That's
level,
what I'm here for.
Yeah,
that's what I'm here for. I'm that guy.
At a certain point, you just kind of have to either live with him or not. But also, I mean, the three of us are, three of the 10 biggest Emmanuel Quickley fans in the world, and I know we all wish he played more minutes tonight and wish he didn't have the quick hook with him. But I feel like one thing the three of us have talked about almost as much as anything is that Quickley's biggest strength is his versatility. He can play point guard and he can play shooting guard next to, a true point guard like Jalen Brunson. And that bench unit is Quickley. It's like, I know Derrick Rose has his moments and he had a bunch of them tonight. Like it was nice to see. He had 12 points in like 12 minutes or something on 7 shots. But Quickley runs the show for that bench unit, and they've entrusted him with that. And even, living with some tough moments in these first 4 games. But at the same time, Tibbs is adjusting the rotation so that Quickley gets minutes with Brunson. Last year's Tibbs, if he saw Quickley as the backup point guard, he would have only subbed in and out for Brunson. That's what he would have done. We saw it every game almost. They never would have played together. But not only did he play Quickley with Brunson down the stretch last game when he had 0 points, he's like the first sub in every single night, and he's playing with Brunson in the first and third quarter. So, look, I'm not saying Tibbs is perfect, but there are clear, very tangible improvements, and I'm not going to just kill the guy, at least not until Grimes comes back and we see what he does with a full rotation. That's my opinion.
Fair. Let's get to some comments because we got quite a few rolling in. Ozzy Mozzie says, amazing fake game from DSJ. Classic bum Nick coming back, getting his revenge somehow, some way. But it's nice to see DSJ has found himself a home in the NBA, I think. I'm a hater. I can't hate Dennis Smith that much because like he was on bad Knicks teams, so it's like it cancels out somehow. I don't know how, but it does. But yeah, I mean, it's good that he found a home. I mean, I thought he was going to be in China like Eric Bledsoe apparently is, but he's still in the league, and he's getting that veterans minimum money.
Did you guys see his quote? Did you guys see his quote today? That like
who DSJ?
His agent was like, yo, man, you should go overseas. And DSJ was like, nah, man, I love America. If I can't play in the NBA, I'll just play fullback in the NFL. And that's why he's so jacked. He was preparing to play fullback in the NFL.
That's insane.
That's so cool.
This guy has like chronic back issues and he wants to play in the NFL. Like, dude, you just want to like kill your spine, don't you?
He just loves the game, whatever the game is. He's just ready to go.
Yo, he took 7 mid-range shots today and made 6 of them. You can't tell me this game wasn't lucky. This is such bullshit. Like, I'm looking at these shots right now.
The mid-range maestro.
I'm literally looking at these shots, and they're all.
Nah, he had a crazy game. He had a crazy game against Atlanta too. He was killing them. Killing them.
I don't know what this redemption arc is, but I don't want it.
The thing is when LaMelo he's misplaced as a starter, obviously.
Of course.
And the thing about him, the thing that fucking Knicks fans, man, the thing they never understood is that he'll never be able to play next to a guy like LaMelo. So there's no, but he can lead a bench unit in all the non-LaMelo units. That's like his ideal role.
Yeah.
And so when LaMelo comes back, I feel like I'm not like Tyrese in this regard. I'm rooting for him, and I hope he keeps playing well, and I hope he settles into a role because let's be honest, Knicks fans treated him like shit. And like, was it lame that like we were playing a really, really rusted up version of Dennis Smith Jr. over like Frank? Yeah, that was a really bad franchise decision. But I mean, Frank hasn't, Frank's
as Fizdale was prone to do.
Right. Frank's not breaking any records either, so we live with it. Let's move on past the Dennis Smith Jr. hate, and let's.
Fuck that! These shots pissed me off tonight, man. I'm still looking at them. They're so.
Every time he hit one, I wasn't really that surprised, because I watched the Atlanta film, and I was just like, okay, whatever.
He was literally like, dude, hand in his face. Great defense, wetting up mid-range shots.
You know how dudes get when they play against a former team, especially when it's in the Garden. Come on.
God, whatever,
this shouldn't have shocked you.
Fair, but like it still pisses me off. But like, I wouldn't say he can't play next to LaMelo, especially. Like, I think there's a world where like you can use more of his slasher skill set and like get him
have him cutting.
Yeah, have him cutting, especially because his athleticism is still really good, and he still has like ways to contribute like that, but I wouldn't.
Fair. I think they'll play him a ton because they want to be in the Wemby sweepstakes anyway. So
I don't even think they wanted to be in the Wemby sweepstakes. I think they just got injured and suck.
And like Miles Bridges went to jail, or he's supposed to be in jail. But
speaking of jail, why the fuck is James Book down in the court tonight?
Baffles me that he's even still like he's played at all this season.
He should have been booked at night.
He was found with a gun and Doritos in his car.
Sorry, look at Book Knight's stats. That's dude. He hit 2 shots over quickly that I literally out loud said, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like,
I know some BS, yo.
Dude, their whole team was. Teo Maladin was 6 of 7, 15 points. Like, this is a joke. Like, Tyrese is really right. Looking at
they did this same shit against Atlanta though. That's why I'm not too surprised. Like Nick Richards had 20 and 11, and I made like $140 off of it against Atlanta. Like, come on.
Their whole team is fake. You're gonna remember that forever. Nick Richards he's gonna average 2 and 2 the next 70 games, and you're gonna be like, yo, Nick Richards is dangerous. He's ready to go.
He got us. But like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, guys are having the game of their life, man.
Second game of their life.
Because
they did it to Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. They had the boys in hell.
Everybody's going to do to Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Anybody who actually buys that backcourt long term is a fucking idiot. But like, man. All
right, let's get back to some Knicks comments. Nemo says JB basically won this game by himself. He carried the team. Yeah, as soon as they hit crunch time, I was like, yo, just give JB the rock and let him cook. Just let JB cook. I tweeted out in caps. I was like, let JB cook. Because, like, every time he had the ball, it led to a basket. And it was just like, yo, we have never seen a Knicks player do this before. Like, this is spectacular.
Yeah, like, I'm telling you, like, this is from, like, when's the last time you saw them? Like, Prime Melo?
Or, like, the Insanity?
Yeah, yeah. Like that Linsanity stretch where basically like every shot was money. Bro, I
That's
can't
like the last time we saw a Knicks point guard like have like complete
like
control.
when I saw
over a
Jeremy
team.
Lin do this shit to Kobe, that's what I knew. Like he fucking wet it up too. But like, yeah, like man, that I would literally just like nobody else touch the fucking ball. I don't care if he needs a break. I would rather take a hit on fucking spin pivot dribble of JB than anybody else touch the rock right now, unless it's wide open and you can't brick it. And even the bricks were wide open, so like I was like, don't touch the ball unless JB's touching the ball before it.
Yeah, me and Tyrese, we said before we came on here, I was like, yo, after tonight, like Julius Randle and like RJ should have their arms tied behind their backs and just like watch.
They need to
Jalen
give up their
Brunson
game
just
checks.
cook.
They need
Just
to
like
give up
watch
their
him
game
cook
checks.
in the fourth.
Buy him a
overtime.
steak. Like anybody who isn't Mitchell Robinson needs to fucking buy Jalen Brunson a steak in that closing lineup.
Just set picks and move around. Just distract the defense.
Speaking of Mitch, how about that jump hook?
Special.
Dude, I
Special.
he saves all of his shit for Plumlee. Like he sees Miles
He hates
Plumlee
Plumlee.
or Mason Plumlee, whatever. I don't care. Whoever.
Wow, that's a good point. He did the fake handoff drive on Plumlee too.
He saves all of his shit for Plumlee. I'm telling you.
Do we need
That's
to just
so
play Plumlee
funny.
all the time for Mitch to like reveal the whole like arsenal, like 3-pointer next?
Dude,
Oh my god.
the classification
Tibbs
is
would
literally
kill him.
classification for that shot is turnaround jump shot. So he actually took a jump shot. That's
First one of his career.
That
Going
actually might be
against
the first one of his career.
It is. It has to be. Like I can't even remember like any other time.
I will say to answer Nemo's or to respond to Nemo's comment, I think Mitch deserves to be thrown in there as well.
Oh, defensively, yeah, he held us down.
I just think on both, like, I know he's not like super, like he doesn't really do much offensively, but he's also doing exactly what's asked for him. Like there are people who would be much more harmful in that role in terms of like either letting it affect their defense or just anytime they get their hands on the ball. Like even sometimes now when he gets offensive rebounds, he's doing the Jericho Sims thing, looking for kickouts. Like he's not getting frustrated with lack of touches, lack of, like
he got paid.
Yeah, but I feel like that's only motivated him more. Like he wants a bigger bag, man. He's like fuck this 460 stuff. I'm getting 100 mil next time.
He might, but the cap drop, he might. But like, yeah, I'm telling you. And I still feel like he got his touches tonight because he still had 9 points. So like, it's not bad. I just
a classic Mitch night.
Yeah, 9 points, 6 blocks. He actually had more defensive rebounds than offensive rebounds tonight, which is a shocker. Because like I think before tonight he had 2 defensive rebounds total, and I think he went up to 6 tonight.
Well, look, Tyrese at who didn't go over his normal rebounding total.
I know.
And so that is the answer. Randall had to guard guys on the perimeter, so he was not stealing rebounds from the guy doing the actual work. It was the Mitch show in the paint.
At the same time, though, Brunson had 7, which is really nice. I think Brunson, like low key, even though he doesn't rebound much, it's kind of like quickly where like he could still sniff them out.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I really did think he was get that triple double tonight, man. I was really excited. I hoped it was gonna happen, but like. Man, I just can't talk enough about how Brunson played. Like, so far, averaging 24 and 9 on the season. Like,
he's going to be an all-star.
Yeah,
like, if he keeps playing like this, he'll be an all-star.
I said it then. I was like, if you get Jalen Brunson, I said it on the draft night pod. And I'm like, all these moves for Jalen Brunson, and I'm like, he could be an all-star. I feel like there's a really good chance he's probably putting up like 22 and 7. And
I feel like we've really underrated him. Like not you, Tyrese. I know you've always been really high on him, but like even like reasonable Knicks fans have been like, 100 mil for like the 14th best point guard in the league. That's about right, And it's like, man, are we sure? Are we sure there are 13 better point guards in the NBA than this guy? Because I'm not sure.
Like straight up, are you taking him or Fred VanVleet? I want you to name like a decent amount of point guards, and I want you guys to like tell me where you fall right now. Like him or Fred VanVleet.
I'm taking Brunson over VanVleet. That one's not too close to me.
Like him over, let's say, Halliburton.
To be clear, you mean this year, right? Or do you mean
this year?
Halliburton's not close. I don't care what numbers he's putting up. That dude is 48 light on defense. That he does not give a single shit on that end of the court.
Like, I feel like if you're looking at the all-star guards in the East, you have to assume that, like, let's say Trae Young makes it in. Trae will make it. I feel like
Kyrie will get the votes because
it's a popularity contest.
If he plays, he'll get the votes. So, like, definitely. So Trae and probably Kyrie. And then, like, you look at the bench, and it's like Donovan Mitchell's going to probably make it because
does Garland make it?
He shouldn't make it over Brunson.
He's like, in Garland, I think Garland would have to play the way he did in the first half, and I don't know if he's going to do that with Donovan Mitchell because it's going to be Donovan Mitchell's team.
Right.
Okay.
And, like, yeah, I think aside from him, because you know Ben Simmons is not fucking making it. Like, but yeah, like, even Garland put up like 21 and 8 last year. And Cleveland had to be, what, the 4th seed at the time for him to make it?
They were.
And the game was in Cleveland, so, like, there was definitely some more, like,
there's extra juice. There's extra juice.
Now, consider the fact that the Knicks might be a decent team. Consider the fact that it's going to be his team. And consider the fact that he's going to have volume stats. Like, he's probably going to put, like, around those numbers for Garland. And Garland's numbers are going to go down this year. Like, unless you think that DeJounte Murray is an all-star, which I don't think he is, even though he gets some nice volume stats, and he's going to win you fantasy games. Like, I think Brunson makes the all-star team pretty comfortably this year. Like, pretty comfortably.
I mean, definitely if he keeps this up. I don't know. Sam, any of the guys that I said I would take Brunson, do you think are closer? Am I overrating Brunson now? What do you think?
No, I think that's pretty fair. I think he can make an all-star team this year.
It's like, are we sure Harden is making it this year?
Oh, Harden's on pace right now. The numbers he's putting up, even with Philly sucking, he's putting up crazy numbers right now.
Oh, he is? I didn't even check. I thought like 25, 8, and 9. Okay, no. But like, I thought the whole team was struggling. That's my bad.
No,
it's just Doc and Doc and friends.
Dude, 10 assisted 2 turnovers, wild. Holy shit. Anyway, he might be back. I need him in orange and blue. Anyway, but yeah,
dude,
like,
Sam would jump ship.
Don't play. Don't play.
I don't know, man. Like,
don't play.
Really looking kind of horrible right now.
Do not play with me. Let's get to another comment. Here we go. Actually, before we get to this comment, let me do the ad read because this comment I think is gonna, lead to further discussions that we do need to have here. So NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back. So to tip off the season with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, new customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Check this out. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can boost their winnings up to 100% with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and place a stepped-up same-game parlay today. With bigger payouts than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is where I go to bet on the NBA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN as you see on the bottom corner of your screen. Make any $5 bet this week and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code TBPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes or show description for details. All right. Let's get to this comment. From H. Bouchard, he says, Obi, the only Knick to hit over 2 threes tonight, and he still only played 13 minutes.
Why are y'all surprised at this point? You know what
we're not. It's Tyrese. It's never shock. It's never shock. It's always disappointment. It's always disappointment. It's never shock. We are disappointed, Tyrese. We're just disappointed.
I know.
I'm just disappointed myself because it's like every time dude came in, he just did the right things. Hit threes, was in the right place on defense, did his job, played with energy. All you want him to do. and dude like couldn't even crack 15 minutes, man. 15 minutes.
I said it a year ago. I said it 2 years ago. I'm like, when it gets to the point where they have to like start thinking about, do we want to pay this dude? They're not. Like, they're not. Like, I'm sorry, but you're not gonna pay money for a guy you're playing 13 minutes at most when it's like an actual game. Like, I don't like.
This is stupid. This is coaching malpractice.
I agree, but at the same time, I'm like, like, do I think Randall shouldn't have, like, I don't think Randall should have played 39 minutes. That would have been fine with like 36, but at the same time, like, RJ played 38, and I wasn't really happy with him either. This is just kind of what Tibbs does. He's just going to play his three best guys a ton of minutes, and it
The
sucks.
fans just gotta live with it.
There's a clear difference though, Tyrese. Like, RJ's direct backup is Cam. Cam played 25 minutes tonight. Why? Because Cam can, in Tibbs' world, play on the floor next to RJ. So, look, again, I'm not going to kill Tibbs. I'm just not going to do that because I think he's coached a good season so far. But he's embraced the versatility of all of our players, basically. Like, he's letting RJ play 2. He's letting RJ play 3. Okay. Except for Obi and Randall. There are going to be matchups when they can play together. Like, if you don't think that Julius Randle can handle Mason Plumlee, I don't know what are
we doing here?
What are we doing here? I don't understand. And I get that Mitch is our most valuable player, and I get that Hartenstein's been good. Like, I'm not even complaining about our center rotation, but there has to be a way to play Obi Toppin more minutes. There just does, and yeah, that's all.
My thing is, I think in Tibbs' world, he's like, Hartenstein gives me a lot of what Obi gives me, especially with like the idea of spacing and the idea of like quote unquote stretching the floor. And that was kind of like what I was saying. I was like, Hartenstein, if the whole point of playing Obi and Randall together was like, I want the ability for them to like do some stuff with relocation of the ball. You ideally want like Randall's playmaking hubs to be utilized. And you want the ability to like have a better offensive ceiling. I feel like Hartenstein gives you like the majority of that, but he also gives you significantly more defensively, especially with his rim protection and his ability to be stingy on the perimeter. And I mean, I don't agree with that assessment necessarily, but I also think that that's probably what Tibbs sees. And I'm like, well, then Obi's just never gonna play.
This is a dumbass.
The whole point, Tyrese, you're almost making it too difficult. The whole point is to play Obi Toppin more minutes. The point is that we're a team that has almost a 0% chance, like as close to a 0% chance of winning the championship this year as any team in the league besides, we're above the bottom third or something. We're middle of the pack. We're not going to win a championship this year. So I'm not asking Tibbs to tank, but when you're not going to win a championship, you have to play the most important players on your team. You just have to see what you have in them. Or there's no point. There's no point to having him on the team if we're never going to find out. Like, how is he so sure that Obi and Randall can't play together? We're still in year 3, and they haven't played 300 minutes together. So the point isn't like I agree with you. I agree that Tibbs has solid basketball foundation to his logic. Of course he does. He's a smart basketball man, but this is purely a team building decision. This is trying to raise the ceiling of our franchise. This is how bad can Obi and Randall playing together for 3 to 4 minutes a night hurt your team? It can't be that bad. And the second it got to be that bad, the second it was like, oh, this is clearly exploitable. Okay, you go back to this. You have this in your bag. But this whole idea of you have to win every minute, you have to win every play, I get it. But if you're not winning every minute and you're not winning every play and your ceiling as a team is 45 to 50 wins, it's a completely hypocritical and backwards line of thinking. It's a coach's logic not being optimal with what's best for the franchise. And that's my rant.
I agree with your point, but you talked about like one of your most important players. Do you think Tibbs sees Obi as one of his most important players? Because like this is what it all boils down to. Like, how does Tibbs see Obi? And I feel like Tibbs sees Obi as like he's good, but he's not like quick. I don't even like quickly has a quick hook, but Obi's quick hook is significantly more like
It's worse.
It's significantly more prominent. At least he's enabled quickly. He's enabled Cam. He's enabled Grimes. He's enabled everybody else on the roster who's young, aside from like obviously McBride and Sims, but he hasn't enabled Obi, which begs the question: what does he think of Obi? And it feels like the answer is basically, I think he's an energy big, who's like 15 to 20 minutes at most.
I guess in my opinion, it's not that he's enabled quickly in Cam. It's that the guys that would be in quickly in Cam's way, Tibbs has decided they can play with them. And Obi is the one guy who is stuck behind a player. And I'm not saying stuck in a negative Randall way. I've really liked how Randall's played through 4 games. I don't want this to be the crap on Randall day. I'll leave that to Sam. But he's stuck behind a guy that Tibbs clearly prefers over him and can't wrap his brain around playing with. And I think that is way more clearly the problem than, I just don't think Obi is that good. I don't think I think Tibbs does view Obi highly, and I think that he just thinks Randall's better, and he views them as mutually exclusive, and I don't think that's true or right.
It's stupid.
So here's the question I have real quick. So do you think Obi Toppin's on the team next year? Because they have those 2 picks. And
they just picked up his extension, so yeah, I do.
I mean, I'm talking about in terms of do you think that they eventually just move him or move off of him? Because I think they picked up his extension. They're not going to let him go for free. But also, they have those 2 picks next year in a very deep ring draft when you know they need a bunch of 6'8", 6'9" dudes. There's a bunch of 6'8", 6'9" in that draft who can shoot. So I feel if you assume Rose is gone next year, right? So the big money, the big mid-sized salary contract that ideally quickly Obi and Grimes are all going to try to want. I feel it'll probably go to quickly because you'd have to pay Grimes for another 2 years. And at that point, then Fournier is off the team and you can do whatever you want to do with that salary. So in my head, I'm thinking okay, it's between Obi and quickly for that $15 million a year salary. Why do you give it to Obi? If you see Tibbs is not playing him, you have 2 picks in this loaded ass draft that's coming up. 2 picks at minimum, mind you, because we don't know what the hell the Wizards might do. I'm not gonna say fucking the Pistons are gonna do anything, but we don't know if the Wizards might get hot and end up going I don't know. But my whole point is at that point, how do you bring Obi back to this team when you're gonna have a draft pick next year? Likely to, and you're probably gonna take a wing who can shoot, ideally.
You pray something happens to the head coach.
But even still, I don't think dudes are going to be playing. I don't think you're going to go 12, 13 deep in rotation. So, I don't know, man. I just kind of feel there's going to be a lot of turnover. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking too far ahead. But,
way too far ahead.
I know. It's only game 4. But I'm also just I didn't think he was going to be long for this roster, unfortunately, regardless of personal opinions. I think he's good, but I don't know if he's going to come in this roster.
I kind of feel like he's going to end up taking a really team-friendly extension. Obi gives off serious, PTSD vibes. He just, he loves New York. No matter, he's like a dog that gets abused that keeps coming back, no matter how few minutes this head coach plays him, he's got a smile on his face, and he loves it here. And I'm just dude, maybe I'm a way bigger bitch than Obi would be, but at a certain point, I would just freak out and be leave me on the fucking court, man. I'm playing well. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. But he always, he hopped off the court today in the 4th quarter, and he was yeah, guys, I did it. And I was dude, get mad. Please get mad. I just want to see it.
He needs a little bit of Kevin Porter Jr. in him. That's what he needs.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit, though.
An ounce of it. Just an ounce, because, too much, and you got to, tell Obi to go home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, yeah. Man, I wish he would have a little bit of that fire in him. Let's get some
Apologies
more
if
comments.
that triggered any. I'm not actually making jokes about animal abuse, or I don't condone that. So,
I don't think PETA is anywhere near this stream, so we're
They
good.
might be. They might be. I don't know. They're everywhere.
They are everywhere. Brent says RJ has been extra bad. Last season he started slow too, but even then his defense wasn't this bad. Was a straight rock man trying to get over screens. Looked stiff as hell.
His
Tyrese
defense
is over here.
his defense in the fourth and in overtime was really good, but his defense through like the first 3 quarters, fucking atrocious.
Yeah, the whole team's defense was awful. Everyone was just getting back cut.
I agree, but like Gordon Hayward and fucking PJ Washington were taking turns. And
with Gordon Hayward, you should know better because like that's like his bread. That's like what he does. Like he's always cutting backdoor.
Yeah, like speaking of cuts, that haircut looks horrendous. Like his barber must have been blind. But like, yeah, like man, like the back cuts have been a thing for like the last 2 years. I want to say.
For RJ,
and I feel like and I feel like it got worse when Bullock left the team because Bullock was defending the best perimeter wing and RJ would be on the second best wing, and I feel like that wing rotation was really strong. So I feel like with Grimes coming back in, it gets a little bit better because you can put RJ as like the secondary defender, and Grimes could handle like the 2 to 3 or the 1 to 3 wings. But like, yeah, I have not been inspired by RJ's defense so far in this start to the season. Like straight up, I think Brunson's been better than him defensively, which should not be the case. Like it should not be the case at all. Like Brunson's been more active. Brunson's been like stingier. The deflections have been there as well. Like for what Brunson lacks in size, like he's really shifty, especially defensively as well, and he tries his ass off. Yeah, he's also aware as hell. So it's like I like the way Brunson's playing, but like RJ needs to step it up with that, especially since like the offense hasn't been there either. And that leak that came out today.
I think the offense. I think one thing that me and Schwinn pointed out on I think it was either the last live stream or like our previous live stream where we did the live Q&A is RJ, he allows like whenever his offense isn't going, he allows it to like take over every single part of his game where it like brings everything else down. And that's so annoying because he shouldn't let that happen. Like if his offense is struggling, he should even just ramp it up even more on defense because, just make up for that. But he lets the offensive struggles get to him mentally to a point where like defensively and every other part of his game struggles, which is annoying. But yeah.
That leaked source, whatever, was such nonsense for all the reasons that Tyrese just stated. The idea that RJ is struggling on offense because he's carrying the load defensively. Jalen Brunson is trying harder than him on defense right now for 75% of the game. Jalen Brunson, and he's carrying a way bigger load offensively. I love RJ. I named my freaking Twitter account after him. But get that horse shit out of here. Like, that's nonsense. He's moseying around on defense. He's dying on every screen. And it shouldn't be. I don't know how it can be affecting his offense. He's not doing anything. So unless he's saying that like not carrying on defense is making him not care on offense, okay, but that's not what the guy said. I think Grimes needs to be in the starting lineup for more than anything. It's not about RJ's effort; it's about the responsibility that he's had to take on. He's always trying to guard the main wing on the other team, and maybe mentally that takes its toll. I would appreciate that if that's what he's trying to say, and if that's the case, Fournier just can't. I mean, I'm not going to say it 100 times. Like Grimes just needs to be starting. Grimes needs to be guarding the other team's best wing, and RJ needs to just keep getting better. That's what we want from him. We can't be asking him to like be fucking Paul George already. He's not Paul George. He's not Jimmy Butler. Let him be RJ Barrett, and let's move on.
Yeah. Jordan Bubb says Fournier can't keep starting for Knicks even when he is having a good offensive night because teams in the league will get those points right back on the other end. And we saw that tonight. I mean, even probably one of the worst teams that we'll see this year in Charlotte without LaMelo and Terry Rozier, they had their way. So yeah, I totally agree. Linking this to this one, Virgil X says, who goes to the bench first, Fournier or Westbrook?
That's cruel to Fournier. He's not Westbrook, but I still hope Fournier. Like I hope the answer is Fournier, not because Fournier is worse, but because
Like it would help us a ton.
it would help the team. The only way the Lakers can be helped is if Russell Westbrook like gets sent to the moon or something, you know. But like that's apologies, Russ. You had your time, you know, but
Every dog has his day.
yeah,
Russ, your day is over. It's over.
Dude, he's shooting 8% from three. 8%.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
That Nurkic clip, he was just like, man, fuck this. Like, yeah, you shoot, man. That's crazy. Like, that's all he does.
And the fact that the Lakers said their game plan was...
I'm sorry to interrupt, Sam, but can you imagine if tomorrow you showed up to your classroom and just like, I don't know, lit the place on fire? Like you just forgot how to teach and you were just like, oh, this looks like the right thing to do. You've been doing it every day for, I don't know, 3 years probably. And you just like, oh, I forgot. How do you forget how to shoot to this degree? It's crazy.
The funniest thing is like the fact that the Lakers said their game plan was to go for a 2-for-1 while they were up in the clutch. It's like that's not the situation you go 2-for-1 in. Like you go for that when you're down.
Right.
Like what? This team is insane, but I appreciate them because they provided so much comedy these last 2 years in the NBA, especially last year when the Knicks were so bad. It was just like, let me watch the Lakers to make myself feel better. Let's get to some more comments before we head out of here. Let's see. It was, let me see. This was kind of relates to what we were already saying. Chris Bernhardt says, I clearly forgot Ray Felton during the 12-13 season going dummy a bunch. Probably. I mean, he probably had a couple games that I don't remember because that season is like all jumbled together with like the 13-14 season and the 11-12 season. Like all those all those 3 seasons meshed together in my mind.
It doesn't matter because Steph Curry came to the Garden and Ray Felton won the game. That's all that matters.
I'm awake. That
I got one for you that's like maybe a little bit before your time, but like there was a stretch there when the Chris Duhon David Lee pick and roll was nasty, man. That was
okay.
The David Lee breakout year for the Knicks and Chris Duhon was feeding him dimes. That was a stretch right there.
Wasn't that the year that Duhon got the Knicks assist record or something?
Yep.
How many assists is that? Like 20, like 1 or something like that?
That
23?
Right. 21 sounds right to me.
21.
Okay. It is 21?
I believe so, yes. I can check for you though.
That's crazy if I knew that off the top of my head.
That would be impressive.
That's a fucking trivia post on Knicks. Like that's a trivia post. It doesn't count.
I wouldn't even know that was a trivia
22.
post.
It's 22. It's 22.
It's 22. I was 1 off. Wow. To be that close off the first guess, that's crazy. But yeah, I probably did forget some Ray Felton games in there. But yeah, I mean, this JB game just felt like more. I don't know. It felt more. It feels like it's like something that can happen more often. Like when Ray Felton had those moments, it was just like, oh, Ray Felton, he went crazy tonight, but like we can't rely on this to be sustainable for like the rest of the season. Like good for Ray Felton tonight, but like let's go back to like what's gonna be sustainable for the rest of the year. Go back to shooting like two to 3 threes a game. And let's move on from there, Ray Felton. Thank you for that game, but yeah.
He had like a good week where like he went up the league with like 20 a game. Special times.
And that's why, Sam, to your point, that's why tonight's game was so much worse than the Pistons game, because the Pistons game, even though the Knicks only won by what did we win by that night? It was like barely double digits, right?
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't like a 20-point win, but it was a pretty comfortable win.
Yeah, we won by like 12 or 13 or something like that.
Yeah. There was a ton of sustainable stuff from that game that was like, okay, I can see us doing this long term. This is building towards something good. And like tonight, even though the Knicks won, there were kind of cracks in the foundation. Like even the game-winning stop was just PJ Washington having his foot on the line. Like that wasn't even a stop. It was just
us getting lucky for once in our lives.
Yeah, about damn time.
And so it's not like a panic game, but we were supposed to win this game. And aside from Brunson and I would say Mitch, there were, like I just said, cracks in the foundation that it's like, okay, like we're 3-1, but how confident are we heading into Milwaukee? Because I don't know about you guys, but if we kind of like punished Charlotte like we did Detroit a lot, I would have been pretty freaking comfortable heading into Milwaukee. Like not like we're favorites, but like, okay, we're 3-1, and if we lose, it's not a big deal. But let's see this. Now it's like, man, I feel like Giannis might just crush us.
Yeah.
He might, but at the same time, like that team, I feel like with the Bucks right now, you're just hoping that Giannis scores as much as he can and nobody else can contribute. And I feel like that's how you kind of have to play the Bucks. Like, okay, let's hope nobody else does their job, which may happen because that roster is kind of ass.
I mean, tonight it was like Giannis going off for like 42 and then Bobby Portis with 20 off the bench, and that was it. It was like scrapings from like every other player, like 5 here, 6 here, 7 points here,
Drew
3
Holiday
points from this person.
18 shots, it's had 15 points.
Like, Drew Holiday sucks. I had to censor myself there, but he fucking sucks. He is so bad as a second option. It's incredible.
But he's gonna get them all defensive votes though, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Brent asked if our defense is top 5 and Mitch plays, can he finish top 3 in defensive player of the year?
Nah. I think defensive player of the year is way too narrative based. Like Rudy's gonna be in there, Gobert's gonna be in there.
Like, wait, who are the first two you just said?
Sorry, Rudy and Draymond. There we go. I said Rudy and Gobert.
Rudy and Gobert. I was gonna say, yo, who's the other Rudy in the league?
no.
It's not Gobert.
Gobert, Dre,
Giannis,
AD
Smart. If he stays relatively healthy.
Yeah. AD's been on a fucking heater. So if he stays healthy, like definitely.
Dude, fuck that. They're about to be 0-4. Fuck the Lakers, man. Get out of here. Top 3 defensive player of the year. Give me a break. Win a game.
Yeah, I think if we are top 5 and Mitch is still, because like when we were like top 5 like that year before, wasn't like Nerlens like top 5 in like defensive player of the year?
No, he got like a couple of votes, but that was
he did. But like I think if Mitch is here for like the whole year and we're like top 5 defense, then yeah, but I don't know how we become top 5 defense.
He might have the counting stats.
Our defense looks.
You know, but he might have the counting stats though. If he's gonna average like around 3 blocks,
2 blocks. 3?
He might get to 3, man.
Probably. I could see it.
Because like the way he's been like blocking people's shots is nuts.
Dude, he had 6 tonight.
He had 6, and I like.
Shit.
He literally like what? I think what happened was like he might have blocked somebody at the rim. PJ caught the rebound off the rejection, and then he blocked him again. Like, what do you do with this guy? He's just blocking everything in sight. And I feel like I do miss the versatility because like he used to get a ton of steals as well before he got played in this deep drop that Tibbs plays. But like he's thriving in the drop because nobody can get to the rim against him. Like nobody, and he's just gonna swatch it. So like,
yeah.
And the frustrating thing for me as a Mitch fan is, I wonder if you guys agree, but I think counting stats actually underrate his impact. He covers up for so much on this team just because our starting lineup is so woeful at the point of attack. He is consistently. He's like a friggin' plumber, man, just fixing leaks one after the other. There's pipe bursting left and right, and he's just always there with his arms just in the way. And
we gotta make that a shirt. Mitch the plumber. We gotta make that somehow a shirt. We got that, and we got Southpaw Central.
Put Mitch in a plumber hat with the L on it. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yep.
With a fake mustache.
We gotta get on that. We got to get on that.
Alex, if Alex is watching, that's your next shirt idea. I'll take all.
We got someone else making the graphics now in the group now.
I bet we're out.
Yep.
But yeah, like PJ Washington is going to see fucking Mitchell Robinson in his dreams. Like literally every time PJ went to the hoop, it was just Mitchell Robinson putting his arms up in the air, and he would have had 10 tonight if the rest weren't being dumbasses. But I digress. True.
Hawkeye for 20 says that the RJ report was actually made by a Celtics person. And they could be trying to get the heat off of Ime Udoka. Hilariously enough. But it is funny that it's made by a Boston person, as they would have like such great inside intel on like what we think what the Knicks are doing right now. But yeah, I just think that's interesting.
That's just really weird. I can't believe that. I mean, I can't believe it, but
Boston people are weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking towards the next game. We have the Bucks on Friday. That's correct.
Yep, at Milwaukee.
At Milwaukee. So they're just coming off a great win. They are 3-0. They just beat the brakes off the Nets. Kevin Durant had 33. Kyrie had 27. Ben Simmons had 4 points.
Awesome. Sam, I got good news for you.
What's that?
Durant and Giannis each scoring 25 plus was boosted from -210 to +100 tonight, and it won.
Okay, so there's a boost that actually won.
I'm gonna start updating you every time a boost wins until you get until you're sucked in.
I am staying away from those boosts, man, because they be catching folks. They ain't catching me though. But yeah, we got Giannis coming off a 43, 14, and 5 game. I mean, he's been killing it these last couple games and just overall to start the year. So, who is going to guard Giannis?
Christ,
it's gonna be Randall, right?
If we want to see like a scoring record in Milwaukee,
you can't put that on TV. That's gonna be shit. You can't show that to children. Oh my god.
I strongly disagree with this, and I thought you were the pro Randall guy, Tyrese.
I'm the pro Randall guy, but I'm also the realistic Randall guy.
Don't you see Randall as the type of guy who would like
wake up for that?
Get up for that matchup and like try really hard?
You know what? You're right. In theory. But like
in theory, he said in theory.
in theory. In practice, nah. It's
not. The way Giannis is looking right now, though, I don't like. Julius drink like 5 Red Bulls to wake up for that game.
You're gonna need. You gotta go low. You gotta go low. Like I need someone to end up tripping. I need like Jericho Sims to come in for like 3 seconds, literally just dive at the knees, take the 1 game suspension, and like do his job.
Oh my gosh!
Like we need to get back to playing dirty. I don't care if it's dirty. By hook or by crook, we need to start winning. I need someone to take one for the team. Fuck it. Get Trevor Keels in there. Trevor Keels ain't doing shit anyway this year. Like get Trevor Keels. He already built like a linebacker. Just have him go fuck it. HB dive to Giannis's knees, and then let's win this game. Like. Stop bullshitting. Do we want to win or do we want to be fucking friends?
Giannis is too fun to watch. Don't say that.
Sorry, hey, I never said take him off for like a season. I said take him off for like the rest of the game. That's cool. He'll tape it up.
I think that all the time. Like I used to like be a really like just an evil kid, like so I would like be like, man, hope you die. But then I was like, man, that's a terrible thing to think about someone. So now I hope someone like has a really painless injury that just removes them from my existence for
just bend the cuticle the wrong way.
Right,
like,
exactly.
You can't hold the ball
or like get a paper cut with like some lemon in it.
There you go. We're thinking. Now we're thinking.
Like in baseball, you're like, I hope you get a blister so you can't pitch this game. Or like if you pitch, like your delivery is all the way off. Like I need something like that to happen to Giannis. Like, say like he just like tears all of his
toenail. His ingrown toenail is like killing his foot.
He gets like a really bad cough. He gets like some whooping cough or whatever. Like, or better yet, like he can't watch House of the Dragon, and he's really upset about it, so he just take a day. Like, whatever can get him off the court for Friday so that I don't have to watch Julius play defense.
His wife
on
is
him.
busy, so he has to take his son to like a doctor's appointment that night.
Exactly. Or like, like he's sitting in his chair and like one of the handles on his seat falls off, and he's like, shit, how long is it gonna take to repair this chair? And they're like, oh, it's gonna go like this time, and it's like right during the game, and he has to watch them repair his chair because it's a really expensive chair, and he needs to make sure they're doing it right. I need something like that to happen. Nothing that, like, it's completely harmless. It's just like really inconvenient, but completely harmless. And I just needed to miss this game because I do not want to watch Julius Randle play defense on Giannis.
Especially when the way Giannis is rolling right now, coming off like back-to-back 40 pieces.
Like you could put prime Duncan on Giannis right now, and he would not touch. Like,
but to bring it back, but to keep it, basketball related, rather than Tyrese listing off 700 painless things he wants Giannis. Isn't Randall kind of
the Giannis stopper?
Isn't he kind of? There's no such thing as a Giannis stopper, but
Noah Vonleh did not die for nothing, man. Noah Vonleh did not die for this.
If anybody was going to have a chance to stop Giannis, doesn't Randall profile as a guy who simultaneously can't be bullied in the post by Giannis because he's so strong, and also has the quickness to not take away, but at least have a chance against those line drives? I don't know. I would be surprised if Randall doesn't start the game on him, and I think Randall will surprise you guys. And
I think he will start on him, though. I think he will.
And when Giannis drops 50, you guys can laugh your ass off at me. But I'm saying it right now. An hour and 17 minutes into this stream, don't care how many people are watching. I think Randall is going to surprise people Friday. I think he's going to do a good job if he puts him on him. I think if we put Mitch on him, Mitch will have 2 fouls faster than like the whistle will blow, and it'll be 2 fouls and he'll be out of the game. Hartenstein obviously doesn't have a chance. Obi's, I think if there are people right now who are frustrated that Obi's not playing enough, I think Tibbs is like literally going to mirror Randall and Giannis's minutes. I think he's just going to have him follow him, and I think he's going to do a good job against him.
Hammering Giannis for 40.
Oh, over like
hammering.
You put Obi on Giannis. I swear, like one Giannis elbow would send Obi to like the 4th row. Like it would be filthy. Like what Giannis would like pump fake, and Obi will bite in it. Like Obi will be the person who like bites on the Giannis pump fake, and he won't bite on it too. He'll bite and go like,
for all my betting people, hammer Giannis 35 plus points
and hammer
14 plus rebounds,
hammer the under
5 plus assists,
hammer Julius Randle under rebounds. Like just do it because he's not gonna be
easily, and hammer Bucks spread. Put that all in a parlay. You might make some money. Watch, it's gonna hit, and I'm not even gonna place it. It always happens. Whenever I tell people something, it always hits, and I never place it. Never.
Oh God. Like whatever RJ's unders are, take them. Whatever bitches overs are, take them. Like,
wait, who's gonna be on? Are they gonna put Drew on RJ? Or are they gonna just stick with like Javon Carter or like? No, Javon Carter's gonna guard.
They're gonna put Drew on
Brunson.
Okay, so then it leaves Grayson Allen or Javon Carter on RJ Barrett.
Yeah, I don't mean this like disrespectfully to RJ, but the Bucks aren't like
they don't care
about RJ Barrett right now.
Of course not. Yeah, they're definitely not. So
they're definitely not like going out of their way to put a stopper on him. Like
Javon Carter. Javon Carter's about to put him at the kid gulag. Oh God, man! You know what's gonna happen too. That's
sometimes I just like you, Tyrese.
Like that's
what is this anti-RJ agenda?
It's not even anti-RJ.
No,
like,
this has been Tyrese for like forever, man.
Dude, okay,
forever. Listen, I think he just hates him because he's Canadian. Like Tyrese just doesn't like Canadian people.
He's down. Tyrese is down there in Texas. He's all of a sudden like a nationalist. He loves America.
Oh my gosh! But Ace says that Giannis is like one of those players that Thibs is cool with constantly sending doubles at. Do we think that might be the game plan? They're just gonna like double him the whole night and just like force the Bucks others to beat them? Because the Bucks don't have much others right now.
Yeah, like the Bucks others are Drew Holiday. Matter of fact, yeah, fuck it. Double him. Let Drew Holiday
Yeah,
take those shots.
Drew Holiday beats us. By all means, go right ahead.
If
But I
Drew
don't see
Holiday
it
beats us, I'm
happening.
gonna be vexed. Like,
I'm not
there's
gonna be
no way
vexed because I'm be like, all right, well, I am gonna be pissed because it's Drew Holiday and he fucking sucks. But like,
exactly. Like if Drew Holiday.
but I'll live with it because it's like, all right, the impossible happened. Drew Holiday beat a basketball team. Like,
Man, what is this? Drew's a really good basketball player. What are you guys talking about?
I have been slandering Drew since that 2021 finals run. Like, he has pissed me off offensively way
when
too
he
much.
was the second best player on a team that won the championship, you were over there slandering him.
Yes, because he had so many offensive performances in that Nets series that I want to peel my skin off of.
I was slandering Chris Middleton. I was like, Chris Middleton don't show up. They were saying he's top 20. I'm like,
that Nets series was like, that's where my like disdain for Drew Holiday grew.
Man, I think I'd never seen people hate on Drew. Like, people didn't talk about Drew Holiday. And that Nets series,
everyone would just come out of nowhere because everyone just wants to see the Nets be eliminated and gone with. But then the Bucks were prolonging the series for so long because Drew and Chris could not hit a shot to save them lives outside of Wisconsin. Like, it was so annoying.
I still
it's just weird because I feel like even in game, I know that the Nets were shorthanded, so like who really cares? But in Game 7 of that series, he hit the 3 and then the go ahead 2 in Game 7. So like,
still don't care.
I guess I have a soft spot for guy because he just like is quiet and works his ass off. You know, like he's just. If you're hating on Drew Holiday, you can hate on a lot of people.
He's quiet, but
and you know, and Jeff, you know, I can hate on a whole lot of people, man.
You do. That's fair.
I'm right there.
Drew like pissed me off because like in the playoffs, it's like last year too. I know like he's like forced to be the second option because Chris Middleton is out. But like, bro, like, can you like make a layup, please? Do that. Like, he smokes so much layups. It was insane.
Just big and strong as fuck for no reason. What the hell are you doing, man?
Like, he would get to the paint and then get to the rim and like it would just like roll off. It's like, bro, like, you got no touch. Like, come on.
He has this obsession with only using his left hand, which is like one
yes, it's so weird. I don't understand that. Maybe that's something we can exploit in this matchup, but you know, just I'd rather just let Drew Holiday beat us than having like Giannis go off for like 50 and like that be the headliner. Like, let Drew Holiday beat us. You know what?
But if he actually does it, I'll be pissed.
Let some wild better post their fake bets slip that says Drew Holiday 25 points.
Jordan Award about to wet us up, dude.
To address Ace's point about doubling more specifically, I think we've seen tonight, or especially tonight, but we've seen kind of this season that the starting lineup can't do the blitz and recover, double and recover because they don't recover. Like they gave up so many just wide open threes trying to double, and then their guys don't scramble the way that, I mean, definitely not the way the bench does, but not even the way just like a passable offense can or defense can. Excuse me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Grimes, come back, please.
Yeah, we really need Grimes back.
Oh my gosh. That will do it for today's show. Hopefully on Friday when we are back, the Knicks have another win and we are 4-1 and we stopped Giannis somehow. Shout out to everyone that tuned in. Make sure y'all like it up. Make sure y'all subscribe. If you are listening on the podcast version, make sure you leave us a rating if you haven't already. And if you'd like to check out the video, be sure to drop by after every Knicks game. We go live. We chop it up as you've already heard. Links to everything Strickland related is in the description. Links to the site, Patreon, merch, and Twitter. Make sure you're following us there. And yeah, we're out. Peace.